Hi guys, this is the Talking Knits podcast coming at you live from the banks of the Missouri River. Let's do this thing. So hello, it's good to see you today. My name is Shelly, also known as the Talking Knits podcast on Instagram and Starfish Crafts on Ravelry. This is a knitting and crocheting and whatever I feel like doing at the time podcast. So it has been 2 weeks. Sorry about that. I've been traveling. I went to Kansas City over the previous weekend, and what can I say? It was a good time. We went to the aquarium and we went to Crown Center and we went out to eat a couple of times. We went to a family style Italian restaurant and we went to a hockey bar, which was very interesting indeed. And we just had ourselves a good time. We were going to see an exhibit that unfortunately was closed at that time. So we just had to improvise. We took the Amtrak down there and I got a lot of knitting done, and I'm actually going to show you some of the things that I got done at that time. We even went to a yarn store out there. We went to Yarn Social out in Kansas City. Unfortunately, I didn't get any footage inside because I didn't want to be rude, and also they were doing a knit along in there, and I just decided just to look around, and I didn't really pick up any yarn. I did pick up a notions pouch. I'll show that to you in the acquisitions, and I guess that's it. Oh, and I got a new car. It is a RAV4. It's black, which is probably going to be very good during the winter and terrible in the summer, because I was hoping not to get a black car or a white car, because the white car is just going to be tan eventually, and there's nothing much you can do about that. But a black car, I'm just like, you know what, fine, it's free. My parents gave it to me, and my dad got a new car as well, and so I decided to name it Loki, because all cars have to have names. The SUV I had before was named Bessie, and unfortunately, about halfway through Bessie's life, I forgot to do some maintenance on the car, which I am telling you, do the maintenance on the car. You will not regret it. It may be a little bit expensive, but it's a lot less expensive than a new car. But anyway, so my SUV just started randomly pouring smoke out of the back, like badly, and so we traded it in. We actually got a pretty good deal for it, and either way, I got a new car and I've been driving it around. It's a hybrid, so it does well on gas, and I have kind of a long commute. I work in the photography business. I'm not a photographer. I work in the production department. But either way, that's been my 2 weeks, and I look forward to sharing some knitting content with you. So let's get to that. So I don't have any finished objects yet. I am working hard on the finished objects, but I do have one half-finished object, or a hoe. Look at that. It is a sock. It is in Lonnie Bunny's Enchanted Yarns in the Lure of the Lake colorway. And check that out. It is a heel flap and gusset. And I did a 2x2 rib for, I think, 10 rows, and then 30 rows for the leg, and then the heel flap and gusset. And this, for the foot, I usually just measure by how much my foot is. You know, I measured my foot when I first made the sock, and I am a true size 7, so yeah, I have small feet. But either way, I don't go by rounds on the foot, I go by inches. So once once I get to the amount of inches that I want, I decrease for the toe. And my toe is a round toe, bound off by Kitchener stitch, as it should be. And learning Kitchener stitch was quite a chore, but I used Very Pink Knits. And if you're looking for like slow motion tutorials or something that, you know, where it's very straightforward, I would definitely recommend Very Pink Knits on YouTube. She's been around for a very long time, and she's the one who kind of taught me to knit once I had kind of been out of practice. And that is my only finished object. So I do have a few works in progress. This is my Musselburgh hat, moving along quite slowly, as you can see. We do have at least a few more inches on this hat. Let me show you. This is my little stitch marker here, and this is where I am. So 2 weeks of knitting definitely paid off on this guy. And I actually ended on a round, which never happens, so I'm very happy about that. And this, I told you before, is living in this bag that I picked up at Hill Creek Yarn Company in Columbia, Missouri, and the world's loudest zipper, as you know. So satisfying. Anyway, so I did want to show you my other bag that I have that I picked up. It's by, let me see, I always mess this up, so give me a second. Okay, so this is by Dragonfish Handmade Goods. Here is the label right here. It may be backwards. If it is, I apologize. But that is where the other sock is. I have just finished the gusset decreases, and I'm working on the foot right now. So that is another work in progress. Satisfying. Anyway, so I did do some work on my sweater. Let me see if I can find the progress keeper. So this is where I was the last time I podcasted. Sorry, too many cables here. Let me turn it around. See? And this is my little Missouri progress keeper that I made myself out of a charm and a light bulb stitch marker. And this is how much I've done on the sweater. This is kind of how it's looking right now. You can definitely see that it's starting to look more like a sweater and less like a ball of fluff, so that is progress. As far as the blanket, I haven't really done much on it. You might notice the blanket in the background. This is a temperature blanket that I made maybe a few years ago. I think I got to maybe March, and then it ended up being way too long, so I ended up just saying, you know what, it's fine the way it is, so it just became a couch throw blanket, and I put it on there every once in a while just to change it up. You notice I had the corgis on there before. I actually, anyway, so this is my temperature blanket from a few years ago, and the other blanket I haven't made much progress on. So that is my works in progress. So now for the acquisitions. This is one of the acquisitions that I got. This is a Notions pouch from Yarn Social. And this is their information if you want to go visit them sometime. And it has a couple of things in it. It has a tape measure with Yarn Social on it. See? Focus, maybe? Nah, you can't see it. but it does say Yarn Social on it, take my word for it. A couple of tapestry needles here in a little fancy carrying case. And then a knit fixer, just in case you drop your stitches. And then a pair of scissors that looks like a little cat paw. And then that's it. I think there were some stitch markers and some other things in there, but I think they've been moved to another pouch. And then I got a couple of skeins of yarn from various places. First of all, this is the Potion yarns in the Sassy Pants colorway. It is a fingering weight yarn, and it is in, let me see, I've got the ball band here. Let me see. It is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards. And this is the ball band if you guys are interested. And then I got this yarn here. Isn't that cool? It looks like kind of a neon green, and it's got some splotches of darker green in it. And this is Honey, let me see. Let me check. Honey Girl Farms in the Green Apple Jolly Rancher colorway from the Candy Shop collection. It is 75-25 superwash merino mulberry silk, 246 yards in the Silky Decay. And this is the ball band if you're interested. And then finally, just to preface, I did not go to Rhinebeck or Woolen Folk or any of the events at that time, but I am aware that there were a lot of accessibility issues, a lot of dangerous circumstances, and a lot of vendors who were treated poorly, and just a lot of things. And I am very sorry for the way that you were treated, because nobody deserves to be treated like that. I know you guys put a lot of work into your shows, and I've watched market prep videos before and just seen how an incredible amount of work that goes into that. So I'm very sorry that you had to go through what you went through, and it was not right. And I hope that they will have some kind of changes or have a good apology, because I heard that the apology that they offered was not that great and ended up being taken down. So if you are interested in supporting those vendors, I actually do have a list on my Instagram. It's not my original list. It's one from Modern Knitting Weekly, I believe, and you can access it on my stories. And also Boy Meets Yarn. They also have a really good list of vendors too. But all of that to say, I actually did purchase a skein of yarn from one of the vendors from Woolen Folk, and it actually arrived today. I mean, holy moly, I have never had such fast shipping, so very much applause to you. And so this is the skein of yarn. Look at that, isn't it so beautiful? This is Dymad Yarns, and in their Chester sock base, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, sorry, words, Shelley, words. And it's 437 yards, 100 grams, and it's hand dyed in Ohio. So they are based out of Columbus, Ohio, and they traveled all the way to Rhinebeck, New York. They also sent me a Progress Keeper. It's a little camper, and it says everyone deserves better. Let me see if I can show it to you. Oh, perfect focus. Hold on. It's not gonna let me do it. My hands are too shaky anyway. But you can take my word for it that there were, that is what it said. And I'm so happy to be able to support you guys, and I hope for the best in future shows and that you do get treated much better. And I will be supporting other vendors as soon as money permits. welcome to the live segment. I am going to post some of the footage from Kansas City at the end of my video, so you will get to see some of the footage from that. It's not super exciting, but there is at least some knitting content and some footage of me knitting my sock on the train. It was some beautiful views on the train. We had some really big windows next to us, so we got to see all the fall foliage. And we were right next to, I believe it's Missouri River. So the train went right by the Missouri River, so we got to see that, and we got to do all the things that I mentioned before. So I've been home this week working hard. We've kind of gotten past all the major schools that we photograph, and now we're getting to retakes, so it does go by a lot quicker, but we do have a lot more schools to deal with, so our to-do list is quite massive. And I'm always appreciative of my work buddies who continue to watch this podcast. Your support means a lot to me, and always will. It's great to have such a good group of friends. So anyway, at work this week, we're gonna have our Spirit Week for Halloween. We have a pajama day and a couple of other things. We have Halloween costume contests. We're gonna have a 70s themed potluck, which should be interesting. I don't know how good the food's going to be, but I trust my coworkers. And they're also gonna have a hobby day, and I'm gonna have a table at the hobby day, and I'm gonna be showing some of my knitted pieces, as well as advertising this podcast. So if you do see it for the first time and you're from work, hi guys. So we're gonna have that, and we're gonna have a beginning crochet class. Mondo's got the zoomies. Anywho, but anyway, beginner crochet classes. I do know how to crochet, but I just enjoy hanging out with my coworkers, so we're gonna do that. And I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I don't really have any big plans for Halloween. I think I'm just gonna hang out at home and watch TV with my husband like we normally do. We are still catching up on Loki. We kind of watched season 1 on the train and had a good time there. We don't really watch a lot of TV. I watch a lot of YouTube. Probably my favorite one right now is A Naughty Mess. I love A Naughty Mess. She's like a really good podcaster. And I've been looking at a lot of podcasts that have, like, for example, 300, 200 views or less, because I like to support those type of podcasts, because I'm kind of one of those podcasters myself, and I would hope that people would support me, so I try and subscribe to people who don't have as many followers. One of my favorites right now is KraftingKitty. I'm also watching Stock Witchery, Knitty Witch. I've always watched Jude Harper. He's one of my favorites. I love the Crazy Sock Lady. You know, lots of different podcasts that you could watch. And I guess that is it. So thank you so much for putting up with me for the duration of this podcast. I am going to link below some of the vendors that were at Woolen Folk, so you can shop from them too. Please do. I mean, just so they can break even. You know, I can imagine that they did lose a lot of money doing that. So, but thank you so much for following me today, and you have a good rest of your day, and happy knitting. Bye now.